Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. I am Thomas, the host of From Cubicle to Clouds podcast. And today on this video, we're going to discuss traffic patterns. And I'm going to explain to you how something as simple as a traffic pattern can be so very important in flying, and how a perfect landing first starts with a perfect pattern. We're going to make this short and sweet, hopefully. It's going to be simple to some of you. Others that are just starting your training, this will be a great foundation for you. This is stuff that you absolutely have to know. I definitely recommend chair flying this so you can get it down. You know exactly what leg you're on. You're going to have to radio this out if you're at a pilot-controlled airport or uncontrolled airport. If you're at a towered airport, they're going to tell you what way to go on your traffic, and if they need you to extend on a certain portion, which is usually the downwind, they're going to let you know that. So let's go ahead and get into it. For this example, let's say that we are starting off right here. Hopefully you can see my little cursor on runway 4. That's going to be the runway we depart from. So we'll be heading this way towards the 2-2, and the aircraft will be on the departure or upwind leg of runway 4, which is going to be right here that you're seeing in red. So that is going to be we'll call it the upwind. And these terms are used interchangeably with either upwind or departure leg. It depends on who you're talking to. You'll hear both of those terms in the pattern, so it's definitely important for you to know both of them. Next, with this particular runway, we're doing left traffic. So we will come up here where our cursor is. This portion of the traffic pattern is going to be our crosswind. And the reason it's called our crosswind is you're always taking off into the wind, unless it's calm, obviously. But for this example, we'll say that the wind is actually coming this way, and that will be why we had runway 4 as a selection for our takeoff. You wouldn't want to take off on 2-2 because then you'd have a tailwind, and a tailwind works against you in takeoff. Once we get that crosswind, we'll make this next turn right up here onto this corner, and you always want these turns to be pretty much standard 8 turns, nice rectangular course. We'll get into the actual maneuver of rectangular course, which is a ground reference maneuver in a different lesson. All right, so this whole long stretch down here, that's going to be the longest stretch of the traffic pattern, and that's what is going to be called our downwind. And remember, you're going to have your fastest ground speed at this point because you tend to have a tailwind if there's any wind in the vicinity of the airport. So you might have to pull that power back a little bit more than usual if you have a strong downwind. And if you have a light tailwind on the downwind, you might not have to pull that power back quite as much. So we'll get to the end of our downwind, and typically you want to be at a 45-degree angle from the runway. 45-degree angle before you turn on our next leg, which is going to be right here. And that leg is going to be called our base. This one right here is our base leg. And I remember that because you're setting up a base for what's the last portion, which is right here, your final. So when somebody says they're on final approach, they're going to be straight out here, straight out from whatever runway they're choosing to land on. Now, occasionally you will hear people that are saying, I'm on a 5-mile final, I'm on a 7-mile final. That's typically not how it's supposed to work unless they're coming in on like an IFR approach. Typically, you're supposed to enter a traffic pattern at a 45-degree midfield on the downwind. So if we were coming from anywhere over here or maybe over here, we want to fly the aircraft. If this is our little aircraft, the wings need to be longer. We would fly up this way, circle around to enter on a 45 degree, and that would be right here, to the downwind, and you want to try to do it mid downwind. And essentially, that is going to be how a traffic pattern works. You have your upwind, your crosswind, downwind, base, and final. Thank you for watching our traffic pattern video. If this video has helped you or could help someone you know, share the video and please subscribe to our channel. This video has been brought to you in part by Barbell Apparel, clothing made for a bodybuilder's frame that coincidentally works great in general aviation. Visit barbellapparel.com and enter code C2C at checkout to get 10% off your entire purchase. We will continue to produce videos and you will continue to build knowledge. Fly safe.